will use this new list. Every 5 students, just using the numbers, the student number. Every 5 students, you need to cooperate and finish those 50 questions. Remember those 50 questions I gave you? No, I mean not 50 questions. I'm sorry. The one no, with the climate change in the Times Magazine. So every 5 students together, you would discuss your 5 articles, and then we will try to, have one presentation. Okay, I'm just going to use this one. Just the same, whatever you choose, we will try to do that. Okay. Okay. Any question on your homework? If not, we're going to look at the Turkey and Armenia. First, a few things here. I'm sorry, I'm still using the background because of my expertise in Africa. Okay, but these are the few terms here about genocide. First one we call ethnic cleansing. Means somehow it's not pure in our ethnic groups. There are some 米克斯 mix. They said nowadays you cannot say a dog is a 杂种狗. You have to say, oh, what kind of dog you have? 米克斯. Okay, mix. Okay, so the same thing here. Ethnic cleansing is someone claim, almost like supremacy, racial supremacy. Like in America, some people, you have the KKK. KKK is not a zip. 不是拉链啊. YKK, I think is, right? KKK, Ku Klux Klan. We call racial supremacy. Or some people, another term for this, for example, in America, they have this Aryan nation. Who are the Aryan? 雅利安人. From where? Originally. 高加索, Caucasian, but more important actually originally from northern India, Aryan. So here and then so the white people, during World War II, I think that's what Hitler believed, right? The Aryan supremacy, racial supremacy. You want to purify your race, get rid of all the impurity, ethnic cleansing, 种族清洗. What a strange term. But where does this term come from? From early 1990s, the Yugoslavian war. Okay, former Yugoslavia. Here, former Yugoslavia, right now becoming how many countries? Yugoslavia, we have Serbia, Bosnia, Slovenia, not Slovakia, okay, Slovenia, and Croatia, Macedonia, and Montenegro. So those 6 countries are becoming, especially in the very beginning, okay, these 2 became independent without a lot of big problem. Macedonia later, but Bosnia had big problem because Bosnia has a lot of Muslim Serbs, Muslim Slavic people. They call, Bosnia basically is under Ottoman Empire before. So you have a war that the Serbian tried to kill the Muslim of former Yugoslavia in Bosnia. We call ethnic cleansing. Okay, that's the word they use, ethnic cleansing, which is a war crime. And later, the leader, Milosevic. Okay, again, a good name to remember to impress your boyfriend. Okay, Milosevic, 米洛塞维奇, the former Yugoslavian leader, considered to be a butcher, ethnic cleansing. That's the term used specifically for Yugoslavia. Genocide is everywhere. We have genocide in Darfur, Sudan. We have genocide in Rwanda and Burundi. Genocide, 种族灭绝, right, can be a very serious one, but can be also we call cultural type of genocide. For example, people accuse China having genocide in Tibet by destroying its local tradition and culture by marrying the Tibetan women, so that Tibetan race is becoming less and smaller. Okay? And then by building the super highway or train from Chengdu all the way to the Tibet, to Lhasa, right? So you develop Tibet, you make Tibet, doesn't look like before. That's also kind of, we call genocide. Genocide, we have a convention. Convention means treaty. Every country has to sign saying we will not do this. America had trouble. They don't want to sign this. They said, American, are you trying to wipe out people? They said, well, we are not trying to wipe out people now, but we did before. And we are afraid people might accuse us. How did they do it? In the 19th century, the Native American, the Indians. Okay? There is one interesting, or not interesting, but one sad episode in American history. They remove the people, the Indian population from Florida all the way and resettle them in Oklahoma. Okay, those people move from Florida, across Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas into Oklahoma. And a lot of them died. This was in 1835. And create, we call, this is trail, right? Okay. So that's also genocide. So genocide can mean actual killing of one race. It's also very systematic of trying to wipe out a particular group of people because of language, religion, or ethnicity. So that's what we call genocide. Holocaust is the one applied to Jews in World War II. It's a genocide, but especially for Jews. Okay. Massacre is a mass killing, but probably without a particular target. You have target, but it's not for religious, ethnic, or linguistic or cultural reasons. Okay? That's the reason we call Tiananmen massacre. We call Nanjing massacre. But some people said maybe that's a genocide in Nanjing. I don't think so. Okay, but that's what we call massacre.
I think that some of the massacres, they are like kind of genocide.
Yeah, if the target is one group because of their cultural, ethnic, religious differences, yes, that's a genocide. So some people will accuse, for example, the Jewish people nowadays, what they did to the Palestinians is trying to do that. Some will say massacre, but other people will say genocide if they continue. So pogrom was the killing or trying to, all kinds of, also mass killing, but more like targeting a particular group, especially the Jewish, by the Russians in the 19th century and early part of 20th century. There are a lot of Jews in Russia. And the Russian, the Tsar, remember the Tsar? T-S-A-R. Okay. 沙皇. And they accused the Jewish people were behind one of the assassination attempts. So they try to target Jewish. We call pogrom. So those are the terms, very similar. Now, the background of this for Turkey and Armenia is in 1915, we will learn from that, right, the reading. More than 1 million Armenians disappeared, killed by the Ottoman Empire. And the question is it massacre? Turkey said, Turkey doesn't even want to use massacre, but most people will say Armenian massacre. But Armenians said, no, it's not massacre, it's a genocide. So after almost 95 years, they continue to, we call it, to write history. To write, not just write history, but correct history. Just 纠正历史, saying this is genocide. Okay, that's what we're going to look at today. It's about Turkey and Armenian. So some of these terms you need to know. Armenians used to have at least 2 million people inside Turkey. Sorry for the map, but Armenia is this little one here. Today you have a country called Armenia, which used to be what? A Soviet republic, right? We call the Transcaucasian state. 外高加索的. Armenia, what's the other one? Azerbaijan and Georgia. Okay, now, interestingly, Azerbaijan is a Muslim country. Georgia is what? Orthodox. Armenian, Christian. Orthodox and Christian are different. Orthodox, 东正教. Okay, so you have these 3 countries here. One of, I think, the article we have will show you, right? One of the article we have show you which article has the map. I think it's this one. I'm guessing. Yeah, okay. So this is the one. Look at Armenia here, Azerbaijan and Georgia, and then Turkey. Okay. Now this map doesn't show one thing. We will tell you later. So you have the neighbors. So Armenians are in these countries, still some in Turkey, some of them in the Middle East. During the massacre, they moved to Lebanon, Jordan, a different area. But a lot of them ended up in Russia. You have probably more people in Russia, and then also in United States. Okay, Armenian community there. So those are the Armenians in different places. The neighbors. Remember these neighbors countries: Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia. But this map doesn't show you. There is one little enclave here. Armenian occupy one little territory we call enclave. In Chinese, it's a very strange word called flying land, 飞地. Okay, just you have, like Russia today. Russia has a 飞地 somewhere here. Here, okay, this one. Separating by Lithuania and Belarus, this part belongs to Russia. Like outside your country. So Armenia has one territory here, inside Azerbaijan, called Nagorno and Karabakh. Okay, Nakha. So interestingly, you have a neighboring country with not very good relation because you have a enclave. Like, what do we have here? In Taiwan, if we said enclave, it's almost like Hsinchu city. is an enclave of Mingnan people in a generally speaking Hakka area, right? 桃园的南部，南边南桃园 and 新竹 County and 苗栗 are all Hakka. But 新竹 City is Mingnan. So Mingnan enclave inside Hakka territory. Okay? So that's an enclave. You understand now? Okay, so you know the neighbors. Also important thing to know. And diasporas. Those people are in Russia, outside. You know, after the mass killing, the Armenian just spread all over the world. This word was originally first used to describe which group of people when their country has been destroyed or basically finished. Way back, the Jewish people. Okay, so we have the Jewish diaspora in Asia and later in Europe, in America, even in China. Do you know that we have Jewish people in China? Which province? Anyone? Henan. They have people. They have Jewish people for thousands of years. They came to China in the 8th century or something. Okay, you can still find Jewish people in China. Okay, this we call diaspora. But mostly the Armenian one are in Russia, United States, France, Georgia, and this one, Nagorno-Karabakh. Okay, that's the one inside Azerbaijan. Okay, so they have that little piece there. Okay, you know what's going to happen, right? You say, oh, our brothers are there, so why don't we just connect and unite it? Then Azerbaijan, right now, the territory will be reduced. Okay, these are some of the terms which we will talk about later. Okay, some of the issues that will affect the Turkey is this one. Okay, Azerbaijan is hoping that Turkey will somehow help Azerbaijan to return, for Armenia to return this enclave to Azerbaijan. Turkey also has a big problem of EU membership. People say, hey, you have to come clean. You have to be honest with your history. Otherwise, how can we admit you to the European Union? Huh? So that's a, and then sanction on Iran is an issue. Iran, you can see, is right next to Turkey, and it's developing what? Nuclear power. And Turkey happened to be what? United Nations Security Council, non-permanent member. 联合国安理会非常任理事国. Okay, so you need Turkey to vote in the Security Council. Turkey is a NATO country. It's American friend. America needs help. But why would America Congress now pass, not Congress, the committee pass a resolution that you have committed genocide? And Turkey said, we're going to recall our ambassador. Right? So that's the controversy now. So that's an issue here, Iran. And Turkey, will it support United States? Probably not. Why? Because most of the Turkey's oil comes from Iran. Okay? So Iran is a big exporter of oil. And then Turkey also has a big problem with northern Cyprus. Cyprus is an island in Mediterranean, right? Closer to Turkey, but half of the people in the north, it's mostly Turkish. In the south, it's Greeks, right? So Turkey said, why don't we have this independence of the north? So there's a big problem here. Hyphenated Americans. What do you mean by hyphenated? Like, most of Americans are hyphenated American. What does that mean? Means you are African American, you are Chinese American, you're Korean American, you are German American, you are Armenian American, you're Turkish American. 叫什么？什么裔美人 ，right？ 亚裔、拉裔、非裔 all kinds of 裔 You know that 裔 right? I love this word because they wear the same clothes. So you can tell, right? So NATO and anti-terrorism, that's the big issues involved. Okay. I think that's enough. So we will go back to the article. "义"不是这样子写啊？怎么写？怎么写？这样子，大一点，这个小一点。下面是什么？9。那把他胡子拉平嘛。Okay. Chinese is very difficult. Okay, so we're going to look at the Turkey and Armenia's. First, let's look at the background of this genocide. An overview of this. Okay, why don't we start with Ke Shaojun? Yeah. No, not Americans. Armenians. Armenians. Not Americans. Armenians.
There were 2 billion
Armenians.
in a declining Ottoman Empire. By 1922, there were fewer than
400,000.
The others, some 1.5 million, were killed in what historians consider a genocide.
Okay, continue because there's nothing here.
David Bronkin put it in his widely praised History of World War I and its aftermath. A peace to end all peace. Rape and beating were commonplace. Those who were not killed at once were driven through mountains and deserts without food, drink, or shelter. Hundreds of thousands of Armenians eventually succumbed or were killed.
Okay, so I don't think there's anything, very difficult here. 2 million before 1915, and by 1922, only 400,000 left. So 1.5 million killed, or I think, exile. So Ottoman Empire, by the end of World War I, what happened? Right after World War I, what happened to Ottoman Empire? Mr. Ke, do you remember? Ataturk, Kemal. Do you remember this guy? A good friend of our founding father, Sun Yat-sen. No, not. I don't think they are good friends, but similar. They are also being compared. Ataturk, Kemal. 有听过吗？凯莫尔将军，有听过吗？ No? Okay. Anyway, he is the one who started with this young Turkish people, we call young Turks. 少壮派军官. Today we all say young Turks. Turkish military, very upset with this empire. What do we call Turkey at the end of 19th century? It's similar to us to China in the late 19th century. China is called the sick man of Asia. 东亚病夫. Turkey is called the sick man of Europe. Okay, so you have some nationalists who really worry about Turkey. So eventually, after the Ottoman Empire defeated in World War I, they started a revolution, almost like they took power, and Turkey became first a republic. That's a very important word. Instead of an empire, okay, became a republic. Second, Turkey became a secular state. Okay, what's secular? S-E-C-U-L-A-R. Secular means not. Last week we have a word that when the religious leader are so involved in politics, we call what? Theocracy. And secular is the opposite. So what is secular? 世俗. 世俗. Okay, 世俗主义, secularism. Which means the religious leader should not be involved. So that's the background of Turkey. After 1923, Kemal came. But in between, you have this Ottoman Empire. We don't call collapse. Sometimes people call disintegrated. 散掉了. Okay, disintegrated. So here, someone who wrote the history of World War I say peace to end all peace. Means really you don't have the peace there. Race and beating and, succumb. What do we mean by succumb? Some people, don't have food in the deserts. They were forced to move in the deserts going all the way to Middle East. Succumb, or succumb means just almost like surrender, almost like offer no resistance to the nature. So they die. Succumb means like, cannot overcome the hardship, right? 无法克服啊. And they were killed. So those are people, And one of my professors who teach me African politics, who is a Jew, and he is so interested in Armenian massacre. He wrote a book. I think maybe he has something to say about genocide as a Jew. So he also wrote a book about Armenian genocide. Okay, next one, Lin Xingnan.
The man who invented the word genocide.
Raphael, remember that it's a ninja turtle called Raphael?
Raphael
Lemkin.
a lawyer of Polish Jewish origin, was moved to investigate the attempt to eliminate the entire people by accounts of the
Massacres.
of Armenians. He did not, however, coin the word until 1943. Applying it to
Nazi.
Nazi Germany and the Jews in a book published years later.
Axis
rule in occupied Europe.
Okay, so here, this guy, Raphael Lemkin, right? Polish, Jewish, a lot of Jewish people also in Poland. Okay, Poland itself was victimized by Germany during World War II. But people said, hey, the Polish people didn't treat Jewish very well either. Okay, so Jewish people do have problems in Europe. But anyway, he was this Polish and Jewish origin. He investigated attempt. Okay, this is how do we define genocide. Attempt to, or actual elimination of entire people, through massacre. That's also, we have that word, premedicated. What do we mean by premedicated? You plan ahead, okay? Like murder, 预谋杀人. Or it's different from what? Just out of rage, right? For example, if I saw my girlfriend dating someone else, right? In a, well, which is not very romantic. Let's say in a noodle shop, 在吃面摊，他们在约会. Okay, so I went there, find the hot boiling water. I just throw that, to that and kill that person somehow. Okay, but that's not premeditated because I was just in a rage, right? I used something there. But if I brought my own pistol and shoot that guy, I think that's premeditated. So premeditate is well planned ahead. So genocide, sometimes you have a plan. Nanjing massacre, that's the reason it's not a genocide. I think that, somehow the Japanese soldiers said, hey, why don't we have a contest? Let's see who can kill more. So suddenly they just went, crazy. So this is a person who wrote about Armenian, massacre of Armenian. He didn't use the word until 1943 when he applied this to Nazi Germany and Jews. Okay, so question here, Mr. Lin, Axis. What is Axis? Okay, so which countries are Axis?
France, Germany. Oh no, Germany.
Oh, I thought they fought against each other. Right? So Germany is along. Well, I don't think. Okay, Austria was occupied by Germany before World War II. World War II, Germany, Italy, and Japan. But I don't think Japan is in occupied Europe. So basically, it's Germany and Italy. And Italy didn't really occupy a lot. Italy occupies North Africa, so it's Germany. Basically Germany, okay, in occupy, especially in Poland, in Romania, in Croatia, some of the Southeast, wherever they occupy with Jewish population, some of the Jews have been, we call, eliminated, right, with gas chambers. Okay, next one, Zhuang Weixiang. Yeah.
But first, what happened in 1950 was that one moment of the revolution that spelled the end of the once powerful empire. They reject the conclusion of historians and the term genocide, saying there was no mediation.
Premeditated. Okay. Oh, spelled wrong.
No systematic attempt to destroy a people. Indeed, in Turkey today, it remains a crime, insulting
Turkishness.
to even raise the issue of what happened to the Armenians.
Okay, so this is something, a sore spot. 会痛的那一块 in history, right? So, but Turkey said, oh, at that time was so messy. Okay, very messy war. We have a declining empire, didn't know what to do. We have internal rebellions, and then you have a war. The Turkey, in World War I, which countries are fighting Turkey? Turkey is on which side during World War I? There are only 4 countries. Right? Turkey is with which countries? Germany? No. Germany was fighting against Russia. Remember World War I. Russia said, we are the big brother of the Slavic people in southeastern Europe, in Balkan. So Germany and Austria, they're the brothers, right? So they're on one side with Turkey and Bulgaria joining them, okay? And Russia, France, Great Britain is on the other side. And there is no Poland, I'm sorry. Poland was not independent yet. Okay, or was independent before, but was under under Russia rule. So here, Turkey in World War I, very massive war, okay? And so that spelled the end of a once powerful empire. So, it was such a mess. We didn't know what happened. So they reject the conclusion of the historian and the term genocide. They said, no, it's not a genocide. There was no premeditation, means we didn't plan that in the death. No systematic. Okay, now, what's the difference between these two words? Systematic and systemic. Important. Mr. Zhuang, what's the difference between the two? Systematic and systemic. Systemic is systematic. We like to use that word. What do we mean by systematic?
Like a way, following like
again, a plan, right? Systematic, 有系统的, doing something, follow a plan, follow a blueprint. But systemic is off that system. So today, for example, if we say our ecosystem, there's something wrong. There is a systemic problem with our ecology. Okay, people systematically trying to destroy our planet. And we have a systemic problem. Okay, so that's the difference. Remember those two. Okay. So, they didn't try to systematically attempt to destroy a people. But if you don't, they said, hey, if you mention about Armenian, you are insulting Turkish people. Okay, so what would be something that is embarrassing in, let's say, in Taiwan's history today? I mean, I think we can mention that. I think Wu Feng is really more embarrassing. 228 maybe, but right now we can say the same thing is, how the Han Chinese treated the Aborigines also, okay? Or in China today, maybe the communists will say, what do you mean we are killing the Tibetans? We're treating the Tibetans really well. We give them all kinds of good economic life. But the Tibetans said, we don't want good material life. We want good spiritual life. So this raised the issue of what happened. Okay, you cannot say the same thing with Americans. Okay, Americans, I think, if you raised the issue of how did you treat the Indians in the 19th century? They treat you well before. That's why you have Thanksgiving. And now you're killing them all and put them in what? Indian reservation, 保留区, right? That's a genocide in a way. Okay. What else? Maybe it will be a sore spot for other countries like Belgium, what they did in Congo. Okay. So all kinds of countries have this dark side that they don't want people to see. Okay, so Turkish dark side. If you want to break up with your boyfriend who is a Turkish, you say, I'm going to date an Armenian. Okay, I think that's the end of your relationship. Okay? Okay, next one, Wu Bingyu.
In the United States, a powerful Armenian community centered in Los Angeles has been pressing for years for Congress to condemn the Armenian genocide. Turkey, which cut military ties to France over a similar action, has reacted with angry threats. A bill to that effect nearly passed in the fall of 2007, gaining a majority of co-sponsor and passing a committee vote. But the Bush administration, noting that Turkey is a critical ally, more than 70% of the military air supply for Iraq go through the Incirlik air base there, pressed for the bill to be withdrawn, and it was.
Okay, so again, it's a little bit like Taiwanese community in the United States. We go through a lobbying group called FAPA, Formosan, okay, Association of Public Affairs, 台湾人公共事务协会, right? We lobby. We say, hey, condemn the Chinese, aggression against Taiwan, right? So American Congress will pass a resolution and say, China, you were wrong. Why are you aiming all the missile against Taiwan? So the same thing here. You have the Armenians. You have to be powerful. You have to be concentrated in America. What do you mean by a powerful center in Los Angeles? Means all those congressmen in Los Angeles said, well, I got to sponsor this resolution. Otherwise, I'm not going to get reelected because the Armenians will be very unhappy with me. So Armenian community, so powerful. I can tell you one thing is Armenian elected a Armenian governor in California in 1980s. Okay, so they are very powerful in California. In Los Angeles, they're pressing to condemn the Armenian genocide, saying Turkey, you were wrong. You committed genocide. And Turkey said, the French say that we cut military ties. Relations, we cut off their military relations. And very angry said we're going to do similar things, okay, with angry threats. 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago almost, in 2007, another bill, legislation condemning Turkey almost passed, have a majority of sponsor and a committee vote also passed. But Bush said, hey, wait a second, we are fighting in Iraq and here. Okay, this American Air Force base is here, in the southern Turkey. So it's on American way to supply Iraq. So very important, do not try to antagonize Turkey. So that's the reason, withdraw the bill, and the bill was withdrawn. So Turkey, because Turkey has this wonderful strategic location, and it knows how to use that. Okay, we also have a good strategic location, so we need to know how to use it. 蔡坤达有在吗？ Yeah, next one. Okay, remember the word theocracy? This is where the empire rulers, also the caliph, which are the leader of the Islamic community. So the Islamic groups, the Muslims, are controlling the empire. Minority religious community like Christians, Armenians, allowed to maintain, you can have your religion and your, legal structure, but we are going to tax you more because you're not part of the greater community, okay? So they are extra tax they have to pay, or, they have to subject to other measures, like other things apply to you but not apply to the Muslims. Wang Yikai. Yeah.
Concentrated largely in
Anatolia.
Many of them merchants and industrialists, Armenians. Historians say appeared markedly better off in many ways than their Turkish neighbors, largely small
Peasants.
Peasants or ill-paid government
Functionaries.
And soldiers.
Okay, here, Eastern Anatolia. Where is Anatolia? Asia Minor. Have you heard of Asia Minor? Asia Minor. 阿西亚、亚细亚 Minor 什么？大亚细亚，没听过大亚细亚，中亚细亚，小亚细亚。Okay, Asia Minor is just this part, just Turkey today. Okay, but Turkey is more than Asia Minor, right? Because Turkey said we are European because we have, little Constantinople, or today we call Istanbul, right, in Europe. So in Taiwan, if we get rid of Jingmen and Mazu, we can be independent. We're no longer part of China, right? It's almost our Jingmen and Mazu is almost like, Istanbul, linked to the Europe. So Turkey is Asia Minor. It's Anatolia. Anatolia is Asia Minor. Okay, so just this part. So here, eastern part. So you can see here, this is Armenia. This is where they are. And they are mostly merchants and industrialists. It's almost like Lebanese and Chinese everywhere. And they markedly better off than the Turkish neighbor, who are either peasants. Peasants. Peasants are what? Peasants. Who are the peasants? Peasants are farmers, but they are landless farmers. We call peasants. Okay? If you have land, we call farmers. If you don't have land, we call peasants. Or ill-paid government functionaries. What do you mean by functionary? What do you mean by functionary? Mr. Wang, what is functionary? Functionary means people who help the government function. 低阶公务员 Okay, pay, ill pay, not very good pay government functionary or soldiers. 就是台湾的军公教了，军公Okay, or 农，军工农. But here, Armenians are business. So what do we see? Armenian is not welcome in a Confucius society, right? 士农工商，他最末嘛，他都是商人，merchants and industrialists. Okay, Turkish are good. They are, 工农 right? Okay, next one. 黄泽明，有在吗 ？Okay.
Beset by revolts among Christians subject to the north. Vast swaths of territory were lost in the Balkan Wars of 1912 to 13, and the subject of coffee house grumbling among Arab
nationalist
intellectuals in
Damascus. Okay, so but Turkey by the 20th century, the turn of 20th century means 1999 to 1899 and 1900, right? Far from means Ottoman Empire used to go all the way to Central Asia here, and then to almost to Vienna, then North Egypt here, and all this Middle East. So very big empire. Far from means stretch very far. Crumbling at the edges means all the edges in the far place, and then already crumbling is collapsing. And then beset means filled with revolt among Christians subject to the north. Greece, way back in the early part of the 19th century, became independent, and then you have other Christians also try to revolt. Vast swaths means big chunk of land, territory lost. In the Balkan War, okay, there were 2 Balkan Wars before World War I, okay, and the Turkey both lost. Have to let some of the country become independent. And then these are the subject of coffee house grumbling. What do you mean by that? Coffee house. Cafe. You go to cafe, like Starbucks today, right? Do you go to Starbucks and now people are grumbling and discussing about how to overthrow our government? I'm not sure in Taiwan we do that. But, people are, if you are intellectual, how do we define intellectual? 知识分子. How do we, what kind of people in Taiwan say, oh, a college graduate? Right, so in Taiwan, almost 80% of the people are intellectual. Okay, did you hear that? Those who do not wash their own clothes, they don't know how to do the laundry, they are the intellectual. 不会洗衣服的就是知识分子. Right? Well, then I qualify because my wife said, don't touch this, you don't know how to do the laundry. I said, okay, what do you mean I don't do the laundry? You do the same thing, right? You have water in this washer, and then you put the clothes in. So it's me, when I put it, it's not going to be clean. When my wife's hand put it in, it will be clean. I don't know why, okay, but that's her claim. She said, if I put it in there, somehow the clothes reject, and it will not be clean. Okay, but intellectual, I love the mainland Chinese definition after Cultural Revolution. Anyone with a 6-year, graduate from elementary school is an intellectual after Cultural Revolution. Okay, know how to read and write, that will be one. Okay, but of course, I think will be college graduate here. But those are the nationalist intellectual. They love their country. They are, the opinion leader. They are in the coffee house and complain, what's wrong with this country, Turkey, right? Used to have great empire, was great in history in the medieval time, and now such a decline, such a mess. So in Damascus, where is Damascus? Damascus, where is it? Syria. Okay, so they are elsewhere. So they are discussing. Okay, let's take a break. Because we are so nationalist, we do not like to see our baseball or basketball team keep losing to Korean teams. Okay, so we have some problem.
What language is spoken in Armenia? I know if they have Armenian language, but because there are so many.
Some people would say speak Russians. Okay. I don't know too much about Armenia, but my son went to a former Soviet Union before, right? So he speaks the local dialect like Kyrgyzstan. But most people in the city will speak Russian as well. So, yeah, Russian. But nowadays, English, everybody loves English. Okay? Okay, Chen Yijun. Yeah, next one. The Young Turks. Three Pashas. Okay, so the Young Turk. Nowadays, we would say all these junior army officers or anyone who is trying to challenge the established order, we call the Young Turks. For example, if someone right now within the Taiwan's DPP party fed up with all this 四大天王, right? They say hell with all this 天王, heavenly king, right? 天王, 四大天王不太好, right? Because of what happened to the Taiping Rebellion. 东王, 西王, 南王, 北王, having problems. But anyway, those people, younger people, challenging the established order. Nowadays, we all call them, these are the young Turks. Okay, so that's the young Turks. Military people, junior army officers. They said, we want to modernize. You know, remember last week I said, military people felt they have a mission to modernize the country. They are the most disciplined forces. The same thing in Turkey. Okay? So they try to Turkify. Oh, I love that word, Turkify. Have you seen the Mr. Bean's episode? Like he's trying to put something in the turkey, and then his head is with the turkey. 你们有没有看过那个? I love that episode. I don't know how he got his head into that turkey. So they were led by, became an all-powerful triumvirate. What do we mean by triumvirate? What is TRI, tri? Three. Okay, 三头马车. Okay, triumvirate. Okay, 三头领导. Like what we have right now, is it? Can we say we have 马无经体制? Like right now, our government, 马英九, 吴敦义, and 金溥聪. That's a triumvirate. Okay, the three pasha. What is a pasha? The Turkish name, Pasha. Pasha. But what does that mean, really? I think is that how they write it? Pasha. Pasha. But what does that mean? 你们 dictionary 怎么讲? Pasha.
A man of high rank.
Thank you, 高官. Okay, that's it. It's an official term, they call. Okay. 廖航伟, 黄建元. 廖航伟在? Okay, continue. Caucasus. Sarikamish. Okay. Now, the Young Turk entered World War I on the side of Germany, captured the city of Baku. Where is Baku today? Baku today is the capital of Azerbaijan. Okay, very important city. But that campaign was disastrous against the Russians. In the Caucasus, remember those three countries today, we call the Caucasian countries, Transcaucasian. Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Armenia, right? Baku. So, soundly defeated. Okay, that was a disaster. Next one, 黄建元有在吗？张淑珍，郭登峰 ，Yeah. nationalist, guerrillas. Okay, so here, this is why we have problem. Because Armenian will blame, saying, hey, you sided with the Russians. Okay, and they said, look, the Armenians are kind of fifth column. What does that mean, fifth column? You know, today when you put like a word, you want to have what? You know, the tables, right? You have row and you have column. 什么栏和列是吧？是叫栏是横的是吧？列是直的。Okay, so the fifth column means 第五列。What does that mean? 第五纵队。Okay, which means the international communist. Communist. Okay, so but think of this. Hey, fifth column is considered to be communist, but Russia at this time is not yet communist. Russia is not having the October Revolution yet. 1918, 1917, they have the October Revolution, but they have communists. So this is where they accuse of them a threat to the state. We all love to blame communists. Every authoritarian government said, "Hey, 保密防谍，谍哦，匪谍，共匪，哇." Okay, always use that to control, right? Societal control. So they said that's a threat to the state, and so and the truth is they were Armenian nationalists. They didn't like Turkey. They act as guerrillas. Okay, today, for example, during the Vietnamese War, there is a group of people. How do we pronounce this? Hmong. What's your dictionary said about this word? How do we pronounce it? Hmong. No H sound. Who are these people? Anyone know? 苗族. Okay. Now, what happened? This is a group of people during Vietnam War. They live in the mountain area here. They helped the Americans providing information. So after Viet Cong, the North Vietnam defeated the South, they were the one being persecuted. The Americans said, okay, we will take you as refugees. So Americans took a lot of them right now in the United States. And most recently, they were some of the Hmong people in Thailand. The Thailand government said, oh, you are economic refugees. You just come to Thailand for good life. Send them back to Laos. And Laos was a communist government before, so that's also being persecuted. So the same thing was like, during the war, you help the enemy, you're going to be persecuted. So Armenian helped the Russians. They were the guerrillas, the guerrillas, hit and run, right? 游击队. And they cooperate with the Russian. And they even briefly seized the city of Van in the spring of 1915. So you are anti-state. That's the reason you have, been killed in 1915. Okay, next one. 严子清.
In March of 1914, young Turks
Armenian.
Armenians in the area were blamed.
No, Armenian mark.
Armenians marked the date April 24th, 1950, when several hundred Armenian intellectuals were rounded up, arrested, and later executed as the start of the Armenian Genocide, and it is generally said to have extended to 1917. However, there were also massacres of Armenians in 1894, 1895, 1896, 1909, and reprise between 1920 and
Okay, so what do you mean by reprise?
like again.
What happened between 1920 and 23, when Turkey finally became a republic in 1923. Okay, so this is what happened. The intellectual, very similar to Arab, intellectual being rounded up, arrested, and later executed. That's the start of genocide. April 24, 1915. Wow, 5 years down the road. I think Turkey will not be admitted before 2015. They still have to deal with this issue. Okay, there's going to be a centennial anniversary of this. 马上100年的要来了. I don't think Turkey will. So here, this is the start of the genocide and continue on. Okay, next one. 周明翰. Yeah. The university. I think there is no United States of Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota became independent. Holocaust. Genocide. Province. Two million 133,190 Armenians. 387,800. Okay, so here, can you imagine? You have this university, just compile data, census, or saying, hey, back in 14, you have more than 2 million Armenians in the provinces and districts, and now you only have. How can you tell? Like today, do we really try to write down, like which groups you belong to? What happens if you have an Armenian father and a Turkish mother, or a Armenian father and Armenian mother and Turkish? So what do you do with this? But anyway, that's how they count it. Okay, you won't believe some of the historians or political scientists like us. I have learned they follow the Italian politics in different cities. Remember, Italy has like Venice, Florence, all those cities. They accounted like all the streets which family were living in the 12th century. They can do that. I'm not sure. Can we trace all the way back to Song Dynasty, like who, the Yang family, the Ling family in Yangzhou, or I'm not sure. Can we do that? If we can do that, that would be great. Wow. All the Taiwan college graduate intellectuals will have a job to do, just to collect all the data. But that's how they collect all the data. Xiao Naixing, yeah. Continue. Minor, Asia Minor. Continue. Okay, so here, New York Times already, in the early period of massacre, say, hey, a policy of extermination. This word extermination usually is for my wife to use against cockroaches. Huh? Right. Okay, but against the Christian, already not just Armenians, but Christians in general in Asia Minor. But then, these young Turks, they call the Committee of Unity and Progress, always have good name. Right? They launch another measures against the Armenians. authorizing military and government to deport. What do you mean by deport? Send away. Saying you're not welcome here because you are a security threat. In Taiwan, do we do that? Do we send back people from Indonesia or Nigeria saying, hey, you're Muslim. You must be a terrorist, right? So you are a security threat, okay? Or should we send back anyone from Xinjiang saying, oh, we dare not to offend China. You must be promoting Xinjiang independence. So you are a security threat to Taiwan. He said, wait a second, I'm promoting Xinjiang independence. I'm not promoting Taiwan independence. How can I be a threat? But because China might attack Taiwan because we have, Jiangdu, right? So Jiangdu is almost like a poison ginger. Okay. So that's the security threat already. Next one, Ling Ruofan. Yeah. Labor battalions. Okay, so wow, they confiscated abandoned Armenian property means, hey, you left, then it's ours. Okay, that's why a lot of people love to have this kind of massacre or killing because some people left home and we just move in, Like, I think everyone here probably like to move into Dibao, right? Or Baolai, all those, rich houses. So Armenians were ordered to turn any weapons in that they own to the authority. I mean, how do you, unless you're military, right? Everybody is given a gun in a military. Or, so you have to turn in all those weapons belong to the government. And those in the military disarm. What do you mean by disarm? 把他的肩膀给拆了。What do you mean by disarm? Arms, 解除武装 okay. And transferred into labor battalion. Wow. 这个兵团叫做工兵团。Okay, 工兵 but real labor because they were either kill or work to death. Okay, that's how you treated the Armenians. 张宇全，张。Exhaustion. Oh, okay. Here are mass graves. Always you find mass graves somewhere. You cannot bury, including, most recently in Haiti, right? After the earthquake, you have the mass graves. But sometimes you find mass graves because of the systematic killing. Like in Yugoslavia, in Bosnia, you find that. You find that in Rwanda, in Africa. They even have a particular place to storage all the skull. You can go to visit this museum of skulls, like a collection. In Taiwan, we will have a, particular kind of urn, right? 在台湾有点像是摆的像什么？我们叫骨灰坛， right? But they don't have a 骨灰坛. They don't have an urn. They just have the skull there, individual. So mass graves are always being found, when people bury people. So death march. What do we mean by death march? Ms. Zhang, what is death march? It's a little bit like, I mentioned, like Trail of Tears. right? The Indians saying, hey, you're leaving Florida, you're going to Oklahoma. It's almost like sending people to walk and saying, Taipei is no longer your home. You have to walk all the way to Taidong. Okay, but Taiwan's weather is so nice, no problem. But here, they walk all the way to Syria through deserts. Look at Turkey here, Syria here. You have desert here, you have hot weather. So a lot of them die on this march. Okay, of course, march can be sometimes very interesting words. We call it the long march. Do you remember this word, long march? What is a long march? By the communists, by the Mao Zedong. 8000里长征 25000里 OK 长征 also demonstration would be called march. That would be something you do. But here the death march, people would say it's almost like 死亡之旅 okay. Women and children across the desert. Concentration camp. What is concentration camp? 浓缩营 集中营 okay. I thought we have concentration milk, concentration something, right? 浓缩 We don't have concentration?
Like the plane that you will find is pretty expensive.
Well, we do. I'm still using those, the carnation one.
Because in Hsinchu, it's the only place that you can find is like in Darumba or something, and it's pretty expensive.
Okay. They don't know the beauty of this carnation milk. 你们有没有这个叫做炼乳 Oh, good for the black tea. 喝红茶一定要喝炼乳 Okay. And also some kind of ice cream. You should put that. Okay. But anyway, concentration camp. Don't think only in Germany, right? The Jewish in the concentration camp. Who else have been put in concentration camp? Japanese in World War II in the United States. The Americans said, oh, you're Japanese, you are Nisei. What is Nisei? Sensei. 二世、三世、第二代、第三代. Okay, second generation American, Japanese American, or third generation Japanese American, but you're still Japanese. We are fighting a war against the Japanese, so we do not trust you. So you have to move from the coastal area because you might be informants, might be spy for Japan. So they send them into interior to Idaho, to Nevada, in the desert, to the concentration camp as well. Okay, in China, where do we find the concentration camp? Shanghai. No, Shanghai is too good a place. People say, I volunteer to be in concentration camp in Shanghai. Guangzhou, oh, no, the food is so good. No. Qinghai, oh, look like a nice place. I'm sorry, it's not. Okay, Qinghai. Now, in Soviet Union, what do we call those? Where is the concentration camp in Soviet Union? Siberia. What do we call that? We call Gulag. Huh? G-U-L-A-G, Gulag. Okay, Gulag. That's the concentration camp. Okay, so we have all kinds of concentration camp, and they died of exhaustion, too tired, exposure maybe to the sun, to the heat, and then no food, starvation. So a lot of people died. Guo Jingyi. Okay, so well documented, right? So today we have a word called documentary. What do we mean by documentary? What do you mean by documentary, Mr. Guo? Documentary. You know, you won the Oscar Documentary Award. 纪录片. Okay, so document means 记录下来, documented. At the time, by Western diplomats. Diplomats like to write something happened locally, you know, and then you will find what happened like Araba in Taiwan. We found it being recorded by American diplomat in Taiwan. You can find some of the records. Missionaries. I thought that you were talking about religion, but they also write down everything as well in their diaries and others. So a lot of people are not very happy, so outraged during the war against the Turks in the West. And Germany, which was its ally in World War I, but later you find out the document surface appear from ranking German. What do you mean by ranking German diplomat? Ranking. Okay. For example, today in Congress, you have committees. 国会里头有委员会, right? 召集人 is committee chairman. Ranking member means, you know, the opposition, but also the highest rank. So ranking means high position. Diplomats. I think it's ambassador, or at least, you know, deputy ambassador, that level. And then military officer as well from Germany say, wow, that's a horror. But you didn't learn the lesson because of what you did to the Jews in World War II, right? So interesting, huh? They saw and they said, that's a horror. That's such a bad thing. And then they did it, you know, 20 years later. Okay, 单主文.
Some historians, however, while acknowledging the widespread death, say what happened does not technically fit the definition of genocide, largely because they do not feel there is evidence that it was well planned in advance. Okay, continue. The New York Times covered the issue extensively. 145 articles in 1915, alone by one count, with headlines like "Appeal to Turkey to Stop Massacres." The Times described the action against the Armenians as systematic, authorized and organized by the government.
Okay, so here, yes, you have a massacre, but some people say, hey, technically it doesn't fit the definition of genocide because it is not well planned. You know, like, oh, you know, you have to be really well planned to call it a genocide, right? So, for example, if we have, like in Rwanda, we call it genocide. But people say, it's not well planned. The government didn't authorize or the government didn't plan ahead. The government just allowed the underground radio station to spread the rumor, to spread, you know, the killing about, you know, how you need to kill the Tutsi. They call cut down the tall trees. So that's not well planned. Okay, but New York Times, New York Times, very proud of itself, saying, oh, we did in 1915, 145 articles. That's a lot, right, on Armenia. And, you know, headline like, appeal to Turkey to stop massacres. The Times described the action against them systematic. But that's genocide, systematic, authorized, right, and organized by the government. That almost constitutes genocide. So we have a debate here. Is it genocide or not? Hong Yingzi? Yeah. Okay, but, well, so read this part from the American one. American.
The American ambassador Henry
Morgenthau.
was also outspoken.
Senior
was also outspoken. In his
memoirs,
the ambassador would write, when the Turkish authorities gave the orders for these deportations, they were merely given a death warrant to a whole race. They understood as well and in their conversations with me, they made no particular attempt to conceal the fact.
Okay, so this is Americans' view. When you say, I'm going to deport you, for example, if we deport someone, okay, let's say United States or Canada deport someone and put them in an island called St. Lawrence. Never heard of this island. It's in the Bering Strait, okay, between Alaska and Russia. Now, if you deport someone there, with the cold weather and everything, you think they will survive? Probably not. So you say, oh, I didn't kill them. I just sent them to, like Chile one time. They sent people to internal exile. 国内的放逐. Okay, now in Taiwan, do we have a place we can send someone internally for exile and then they won't live? Green Island? No, Green Island. The weather is so good. Come on. 玉山山顶。东沙群岛. No, 东沙 is so good. But they might not have drinking water, right? So this is what, when you send deportation, you know it's a death warrant. Like if China sent people to Qinghai, okay, you know they cannot find food, they cannot find water, the weather is so cold, they're going to die. But hey, I didn't kill them. It's the Mother Nature. Right? To a whole race, right? They understood that in their conversation with me. They made no particular attempt to conceal, saying, and like, oh, you know, they try to. They are very blatant about this. They start fine. Okay, so that's American ambassador Morgenthau at the time in his memoir. He said that. Okay, saying Turkish knew that they deport them. You actually give them death warrant. Okay. Wang Boxuan. Coiner. Okay, so after Ottoman surrender, after World War I in 1918, the three pashas, right, fled to Germany. You know, oh, it's not safe. They were given protection, but the Armenian underground found them and formed this group called Operation Nemesis. What is a nemesis? Like, for example, I think nemesis is almost like Tsinghua and Jiaoda, huh? In a way. But nemesis, the best one is 寄生于和生亮. 听不懂? 诸葛亮跟周瑜有听过吗？你们不看林志玲的三国吗？ Okay. So nemesis is like what? My exact opposite, my enemy, my rival, you know, something like that. 中文怎么翻译？你们比较好的 nemesis. 不只是复仇 ，nemesis 不是只有复仇 ，nemesis 还是有那种宿敌是啊，叫宿敌啊。OK， 因为 OK nemesis 啊，不是只有 goddess of revenge， 比较多的讲的 nemesis 就是应该是谁？应该是 LeBron James and Kobe Bryant。And to hunt them down, okay, just saying, okay. They try to, yeah, in a way it's also revenge here. I think Operation Nemesis here may be revenge. But they tried to find them, and one of them were killed, in Berlin, in broad daylight, okay, in 1921. And I love this one, right? The government pled means saying, oh, I just lost my mind temporarily. Temporary insanity. Remember, this is the most useful thing, especially also in this university as well. When you have people, right, a female student from this university kill another female student, was it temporary insanity or premeditation? Temporary insanity? 你们清华的你们的学姐，把另外一位学姐是忽然短暂，这个叫什么？失去理智，还是说是预谋？好像有预谋哦。Okay, but hey, this is a good thing to use. Always say temporary insanity. Why? Saying, oh, I lost my mind because I just, saw the Pasha. I remember the mass killings. I was not, normal at the time. So he killed them, the Pasha, right? And the jury said, oh, just 1 hour they said, you're free. You're innocent. Okay, acquit means what? Let him go, right? So here, the defense evidence, okay? Defense means the attorney who helped to defend the accused. The accused is the guy, the government. The government being accused of killing. The defense used temporary insanity. And then this defense evidence saying, wow, the guy who witnessed all this mass killing. So that's the reason Lemkin, coin means I create the word. Like coiner of genocide. That's how he created the word. For example, your professor created a word called JJYR. JJYR. What does that mean? 借机用人. Okay. Because it's hard. You say, patience over haste. Be patient, no haste. JJYR. Okay. So that's the genocide. Okay. People created. Or I create another word. I wanted Taiwan to manufacture a car together and sell it to China. The car's Chinese name is called Tai Qing Na. And the car's name is called Tai China. Taiwan, China. Okay. So do you think this would be a good car's name for ladies? Tai China. Toyota Tai China. That's how you coin something, right? Okay, so that's where you got the genocide. So you got the idea of this, and I have to tell you this: the Armenians. Remember, where do we find them? Also in the United States, in California. Okay, Turkish diplomat were assassinated by the Armenian, this diasporas, Armenians, Americans, in the late 1970s in California. They still have this group of people. So the Turkish, if you are a Turkish diplomat, probably coming to Taiwan would be a good idea. Okay, if you've been stationed elsewhere, like in France, in Russia, where they have this sizable Armenian community, beware of your own safety. Okay, there might be someone who's going to do something. The same thing with the Jewish people. The Israeli, right? They have problem with their neighbors. They worry a lot. So the Israeli representative to Taiwan said, what a relief to be in Taiwan. I mean, nobody know about all these problems, of the Jews and, the Palestinians in Taiwan. So they're having a great time here. They can do volunteer work in Taiwan. 你们有没有看过以色列驻台代表啊？这边捡垃圾啊，好开心哦。Because there is no problem. You go to Europe, Israel, a big problem, right? You have problem with Palestinians in America, everywhere. But in Taiwan, here, fine. So we should invite Armenia, Turkey, to send more diplomats to Taiwan because it's safe here. Okay, see you next week. We're going to write. So you get an idea of this. We're going to write something about, history. How do you really want to go back? How do you interpret history? And that create problem as well. Okay, the same thing in Taiwan. You can think about all the White Terror, the 228, and even recently something surfaced, 美丽岛, 谢长廷. Wow. Okay, so there are some issues about, the truth. Okay.